Hello! So, we covered Venus being retrograde in Gemini a lot in the last video, so I would recommend checking that out. But as a quick reminder, especially with Mercury also being in Gemini, the conjunction is getting tighter, which helps in a lot of ways, but also there's a bit of challenge there. The thing to keep in mind, the challenge here, is to just think before you speak, to make sure you're breathing. I know it seems so simple, but it really is that simple solution for these energies. Having Mercury in Gemini myself, as well as being a Gemini, but especially that Mercury, some of the best ways to just calm the mind, which is so hyperactive, that we're all experiencing right now with transiting Mercury in Germany, in Gemini, is to breathe deep and just take your time and not rush. Um, Something that we didn't quite cover last time was Mercury being in Gemini. It accelerates everything as per our minds, as per our conversations, our thoughts. And so it seems like we don't have as much time, or we need to get it all done in 5 minutes, or whatever it might be. It tends to rush things. Again, take it from me, I live with this all the time. So we're all experiencing this. And I think it's just good to remind ourselves that, again, breathe, and also to analyze what really is the time frame here. Let's check it. Let's make sure that it's truthful, that it's accurate. Um, and something that's helped a lot with this is Sun has been in Taurus. Sun will move into Gemini in about 2 days. So it's really good to keep this in mind and just go ahead and start practicing this now and moving forward. Because when the Sun enters Gemini as well, there will be a whole lot of Gemini going on. And that's not good or bad, just like with every energy. It's just the the propensity to overthink and to rush and to have anxiety and whatnot. Again, just take your time, breathe, just make the best of where you are, and don't look ahead too much or behind too much. But this energy tends to look ahead more so, and I have to check myself again all the time of just, hey, focus on where you're at. You don't know, yeah, it could go that way, could go that way, could go that way, could go that way. I mean, there's all these different possibilities, and it's good to think about the possibilities, and it's fun too with this energy. But we need to stay focused on where we're at, because ultimately you're going to be spending a lot of time thinking about 5 different options, and it's only going to be one of those options. And if you're stressing about it, if you're thinking about it too much, if you're not reaching any new conclusions or new information or insights or ideas or anything, then you're overthinking. And ultimately, all that thought that you devoted to those 4 other scenarios that are never going to happen was a waste. So take your time. Don't freak out, especially about those scenarios. It's like, hey, it's either going to be this or that, or that, or that, or that. Let's take your time. Let's figure it out. So that's really good to focus on. And I think the other major thing to focus on for today and really the next like 5.5 weeks or so is Mars in Pisces. And again, same thing. Energy of as good size has challenges. The challenge, we'll get into challenge, then we'll go into good. The challenge with this, I think, especially since Neptune is in Pisces as well, and we have all that Gemini energy, so there's a square here. It's really good to communicate as clearly as possible and to seek to understand what other people are saying as clearly as possible. At an extreme of this energy, there can be a lot of kind of shisty behavior of people scamming people and whatnot. Just with this Gemini and this Mars and Pisces. Again, that's not a given, and that's an extreme, but it is good to keep that in mind. But another thing to keep in mind is a lesser version of the extreme is just miscommunication, maybe not intentionally misleading people, but maybe being afraid to talk about exactly what's on your mind, or what the whole truth is, or feeling like, oh, I don't want to anger them. Or Mars and Pisces is a very sensitive energy, and there's so much good there as per compassion and being able to put the ego aside and to work towards the well-being of your loved ones and the world at large, and especially people or animals that or the environment, because they can't protect themselves. There's so much good to this, and again, the compassion and being able to work on behalf of not just yourself is one of the best parts of this energy. But again, like everything, it's good to keep all this stuff in mind. There's the good, there's the challenge. And again, with the challenge, I think it's just important to keep in mind that it's good to be sensitive with other people and to seek to be able to be considerate and compassionate in your communication with them. But sometimes you just have to say things that are difficult and are going to make them mad or sad or whatever it is. And that's not your responsibility. As long as you're doing your best to speak truthfully and accurately, and to help them understand where you're coming from, and and you're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings, then you've done the best you can, and let other people handle it. And just as you have to handle your own energy, your own emotions, your own thoughts and whatnot. So I think if you just take that time to, also one last thing is to balance, making sure that you're not going too far to the extreme, especially since you got Neptune and Mars there. So there can be this, I'm going to devote my entire life to other people, and it's like, that's great, and to each their own. Sometimes that's exactly what people need, but we have to take care of our own needs as well. That's a big thing, especially with Mars being in Pisces, is just to make sure that you're balancing taking care of your own needs as well as taking care of other people's. It's not one extreme or the other for most people, you know. And again, some people, even if they do go to one extreme or the other, that's usually a phase, and then they kind of come back to the middle. We have to balance self and other. So, yeah. One last thing, just for today, in the first part, first probably third or so, first half of tomorrow, Tuesday, is the moon is in Aries, so this is very exciting. A lot of energy. We're making our way to the next new moon, which is gonna be probably like in the first degree or so of Gemini. Fun. We'll talk about that when that comes. But for today and the first part of tomorrow, I really just encourage you to go and move, get the energy out there. If you find yourself being a little stagnant, depressed, apathetic, or if you're a little harsh with your words, again, that Venus retrograde challenge in Gemini, it's really important to go and express it. Just get it out. I noticed yesterday I was getting a little itchy with one of my friends, and I'm like, okay, I need to go for a run. I need to shut up, stop talking, stop thinking, go move the body. And afterwards, it was wonderful. So that's really good to keep in mind as well. As always, there's all sorts of stuff to talk about, but I think that's the main stuff to keep in mind for the next couple days. And again, Mars and Pisces will be there for the next 5.5 weeks or so. So as always, I'm doing readings. I'm a little busy right now, so if I don't get back to you right away, thank you for your patience. Just continue to be patient. I will respond to you, I promise. And if you want a reading, feel free to get in contact with me. As always, it's in the About section, the different of YouTube, the Bio section of Instagram, of what are the different readings I offer. There's a link in both of those. How to get in contact with me, and yeah, it's really easy. But if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And I'm happy to do readings about whatever it is that you like to talk about, whether it's love life or personal life purpose or difficulties and traumas or whatever it might be. I'm here to help. Infinite love to you, my friends. Namaste.